Good evening. Welcome to the workshop session of the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley-Broom. We have a full quorum present with council members McKenzie, Karn, Arnold, and Gay. So I will call the meeting to order at this time. And the first item on the agenda is a Black Wall Street Business Expo presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
All right, I hope everybody had an amazing Easter. All right, so I did get a chance to send over a presentation prior to tonight. Did everyone get a copy?
Yes.
Okay, great. So just a brief synopsis. I am the founder of the Financial Literacy Institute. My name is Jasmine Young. I am a certified public accountant with a CPA firm that will be 10 years old come this December. The Financial Literacy Institute is an organization that provides underserved and underrepresented communities with financial literacy education and access to resources they otherwise would not receive. One of our signature programs is the GAP program, which is an 8-week incubator where we actually teach Black-owned businesses how to build a sustainable small business. After that incubator program ends, we have an impact event in the community called the Black Wall Street Black Business Expo, where we actually allow those business owners to come in and exemplify what they've learned in the program, as well as pay homage to the Black excellence that existed at the original Black Wall Street, which is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And that is the reason why I'm here with you guys today. You can go on to the next slide. I had no idea it was all the way up there. Just a brief synopsis of what we've done in the past. We've done this event since 2021, and it has been very successful. We've averaged over 300 attendees at each event, and we've had notable partners such as David Banner, who is an Atlanta-based rapper, Melody Holt, who is the star of Love and Marriage Huntsville on her own channel, as well as Dr. Umar Johnson, who is a heavy advocate for social activism in the African American community. We've received several proclamations, including one from the City of Riverdale, the City of Forest Park, and the City of Atlanta from Mayor Andre Dixon. Next slide, please. So there you can see some of our signature programs, as well as the impact events associated with them. And the one that we're focusing on with the City of College Park is the GAP program and the Black Wall Street Black Business Expo. Next slide. So with the Expo consists of, in the past, we've had about 50 to 100 vendors across the years, averaging 300 attendees per year. And like I said, we do have vendors come in and set up different tables to exhibit their businesses. But the most important part of the event is a panel discussion where we actually talk about how we can use the Black dollar to affect social change. With this year being an election year, we wanted to make sure that we connected with a local government because we want to make sure that we steward the audience properly and make sure that we actually get our communities out and register to vote. With that being said, I do have a sponsor already for voters registration. I am a member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and our chapter has already committed to coming out and doing a voters registration. In addition to the Fulton County Elections Division, they will be bringing out the elections bus. We've already been in talks with other notable people from the community, as well as other sponsors that are interested in coming out to this event and being a part of it. Specifically, we have Mother Viola Ford Fletcher, who is the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre that actually demolished Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She is 109 years old. She will be 110 come May 10th, and she is excited to visit Atlanta and attend this event. Like I said, we have lots of entertainers and other notable people in the community that are already interested in attending this event. For example, we have State Representative Eric Bell, who's already committed to being a speaker at the event, as well as other notable people in the community, such as Dr. Ishay Collins, who's actually the head of the board of Atlanta Public Schools. So we've already done the work to actually put this event together. We've done it multiple times over. And we're looking for a yes from the city of College Park to be a part of it. Simply because, one, you guys are history in the making yourselves, with you guys being the first all-black council of this city, and with the mayor being the first, this is your second term, long term. And also with the historic businesses that sit in College Park on Main Street. We want to bring some recognition to the area and also revitalize it, because everybody that comes to Atlanta, if they come through the airport, they have to come through College Park. So it makes sense for us to have this event here. So I did send over, next slide please. You can look at the pictures anytime. Those are some demographics of the attendees. We did send over some proposals of what we wanted to do with this event. Proposals A and B actually cover a 2-day event, where on the first day we will be doing sort of like a semi-formal ball, where we will welcome Mother Vala Ford Fletcher, and we will allow people to come and have a formal dining experience with her, as well as take pictures with her and get a copy of her book, which she wrote. She co-wrote it with her grandson, and it's called "Don't Let Them Bury My Story." We wanted to have the event at the GICC, but we did find out from Ms. Miller, you guys are booked. So we would have to find another location for that. But nevertheless, we would still love to have it at no cost to the city. On day 2 is really where the city of College Park would really get involved. We're interested in having a parade down Main Street with Mother Ford Fletcher as the Grand Marshal. I did get a chance to speak with Michelle Johnson, and she was telling me about the parade that you guys were already doing on Juneteenth, and she was interested. We did converse about possibly conjoining our events. We also talked about the potential of me moving our event to Juneteenth. And the reason we can't move our event to Juneteenth is because Mother Vala Ford Fletcher already has a committed event in Tulsa on Juneteenth. So had she not had that, we would have been very interested in moving our event. And I would love to work with Michelle. I know she's here in the back. She's excited about it. But we do understand if you guys want to continue to have your own separate event or your own separate parade from us, we definitely understand. So proposal C actually takes that parade out. And then the biggest part of the event will be the Expo from 12 to 8, which is where we'll have the vendors come out, sort of similar to a night out that I think it's the police department that does it. So we were looking at wanting to have the event out on the lawn in front of the City Hall auditorium, where we would, of course, bring in the vendors, but we will also have our panel discussion on the stage that we hope to be able to get from GICC through Public Works. And basically just use this opportunity to get the community involved, especially with it being an election year. I don't have to tell y'all how important that is, but we want to make sure that we steward this audience properly. I did try to put together a cost estimate of what it would look like if we collaborated with the City of College Park to do this event. And each proposal kind of has some costs laid out for that. We are still missing costs from Public Works, which I was able to speak with Dr. Adadarian's executive assistant earlier today, and they would still need to do some assessments to get us the rest of those costs. But I'm willing to answer any questions you guys have about the event.
Thank you so much. We'll start with Councilmember McKenzie.
I sat with you. I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
Councilmember Carn?
All right. So I spoke to you on the phone, right?
You did.
I do remember. Obviously, I think this is a great event. I would still like to see how we could possibly merge these. And I mean, in my head, it seems like it would make good sense to do it on Juneteenth, obviously. Mm-hmm. I understand Mother, tell me her name again.
Mother Fletcher.
Mother Fletcher, she has a previous date. And it would have no question be an honor having her here, obviously. I mean, that's history. But if there was some kind of a way we could combine these things, even if she's coming on, let's say the May 31st to June 1st date, recognizing her in the city with a proclamation, the whole nine, and also doing something on the 19th in conjunction with us, I don't know if that, in my head, maybe we could figure out how we could get the best of both worlds with it. And, obviously there are plenty of Metro Atlanta brand marshals as well.
Right.
And still honor Mother Fletcher on those dates. But we were planning something big and exciting for Juneteenth. And in my head, logistically, your heavy lift for what you're doing would make our Juneteenth even bigger and better, if we could possibly combine it for that 19th date. So I'm fine with it, but either way. But I just think if there was a way to combine this thing.
So I did talk with Michelle Johnson about also being a part of you guys' Juneteenth event as well. So we will be able to provide, the following that we have, the resources that we have to push whatever you guys want to happen on Juneteenth. We will be interested in that. Like I said, the only reason we stuck with May 31st and the 1st, actually 2 reasons. One, because Mother Fletcher has to be in Tulsa on Juneteenth, but also May 31st and June 1st are the actual dates that Black Wall Street was burned down. So we were trying to stay as close to history as possible.
Gotcha. Okay, well, and I definitely respect that. I mean, obviously, we want to celebrate as much history as we can. Right. So if it has to be 2 separate events, I'm fine with it either way. But I would love if we could merge. But you saying, is that just absolutely not possible, or?
So it's really huge in Tulsa.
Okay.
If we did it on Juneteenth, of course, we wouldn't have Mother Fletcher here for it because she's already pre-committed to that. But I did talk to Michelle Johnson, and I told her that, if we get this opportunity, if it goes well, we would be interested in doing Juneteenth events going forward and moving our event literally from the first week of June to Juneteenth and make this a College Park thing that always happens.
Well, I'm excited about it. I'm okay with it either way. So, yeah, this is definitely history. So, yeah, this is a great event.
Councilmember Arnold?
I don't have any questions. Thank you, Jasmine, for putting this together and presenting it, and also getting the cost breakdown so that we could have a better understanding of what it would cost the city.
Yes.
Councilmember Gay?
This is a great presentation. I don't have any questions in general, but I just want to clarify. You asking for the 3880 plus a corporate sponsorship?
So what we discussed with several of you, individual conversations and group conversations, we did discuss that in-kind donations would be part of the sponsorship with the city. So whatever you guys are able to contribute, whether it's donating all of the things that we need that are listed on our proposal, if that's what you guys are going to donate, or if you want to do, in-kind donation with a monetary donation, whatever it is, we can make it to where you guys are a title sponsor, because we've never actually done this event in collaboration with local government. So you guys would be the first. So it would make sense for us to highlight the City of College Park as a title sponsor in this. And I'm not sure how far you got down in the presentation, but we've had a lot of media behind this event since we've done it in 2021. Specifically, we've been on every news channel, CBS 46, Atlanta First News. We've also been featured in the original publication from Tulsa, the Black Wall Street Times. So this would be a very, very good look for the City of College Park.
I got another question.
All right, go right ahead, Councilmember Carn.
So is there an in-kind list of, okay, I see it right here. Yeah, packet page 19. So are you looking for kind of a consensus in terms of what we're thinking along the lines of? I know we don't vote in workshop, but I see the 10, 25, and a 50, right? And then the proposed in-kind sponsorship. So I guess you're looking for one or the other, or a combination of, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, and from looking at this, in my head, and this is just me again. I'm thinking, the in-kind stuff and at least the 10, but I want us to do as much as we can, whatever. So I don't know if anybody's talked about the amounts, but just come back to us, city manager, or because it's coming up, May 1st.
June 1st.
Because
31st.
who details as to what would be so that it was hard to calculate the cost.
Well, I guess, let me put it another way. What in your ideal world would you like to see? Not that that's what you're going to get, but
Right.
I mean, give us.
Absolutely. So of course, the 50,000 would be great. Everybody would say that, right? But really, we would be looking for you guys to, like I said, cover the in-kind costs, in-kind donations. So basically, what we would need from the city, of course, would be the stage, or I think they call it a riser, from the GICC, tables and chairs for our vendors. I'm not sure if you guys have the metal barricades that actually can set up a perimeter around an event, but we would be interested in that if you guys do have it. Of course, trash cans for sanitation, clean up after the event. Let's see. For the parade, of course, we would need law enforcement to make sure that, there's safety precautions in place along that parade route, which was also included in the slides as well. And like you said, at a minimum, if we could get the in-kind donations with the $10,000 together, that would be ideal.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you.
Any additional questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead,
So
Councilwoman.
the proposal C that has the 3480, essentially $3,500.
Correct.
Is that on top of, just break it down for me, that includes everything that you just mentioned as far as the riser,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
chairs,
The only
the
thing
barrier?
Yes, the only thing it doesn't include would be the cost from Public Works that Dr. Adedarian is still having to put together.
Okay, gotcha.
Is the Megas working with y'all on this?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Are the Qs working with y'all?
We have not gotten in touch with the chapter of the Qs that we want to work with us, but I can almost guarantee you they'll be there.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we'll be talking about Juneteenth.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
So here to present or discuss a save the date for Juneteenth. I did have the pleasure of talking to Ms. Jasmine in regards to the event that she was talking about. The Cultural Arts Committee, we're looking at Juneteenth for a parade, saving that date so we can move forward on getting that worked up with the police to do the parade route. It would be the same parade route that we do for our Christmas parade, starting at Truist, going down Main Street, and turning off right after Subway. Looking at a 10 o'clock parade. It will be hot, so we'd like to get done as early as possible. And like what I did see when Jasmine sent me the information about the Black Wall Street, I thought it would be a great opportunity to collaborate. I didn't realize it was that quick turnaround that they were trying. We were thinking Juneteenth, that her dates were a little different than ours. I did have some discussion with her, and we are looking at possibly collaborating in the future because they're looking at music on the lawn, very much like National Night Out, which is what we'd like to do for Juneteenth after the parade, make it an all-day, do a parade in the morning and then come back in the evening with vendors and activities for the community with food and music on the lawn. So very similar situation that they're looking at for their event, and just thought it would be a great opportunity to join the two. Juneteenth is a holiday, which is what we were looking at for the parade, based on the discussions, Councilman Carn, that you had brought for us for the event, and what the community was looking at. But we do need to make sure we're looking at parades. The banks are closed on official holidays and are on Saturdays, so if we're going to give any type of special permit for anything, we need to make sure we think about those businesses that we utilize the parking lot and line up for that parade. Also to think about the lunch hour for our businesses downtown. We don't want to disrupt businesses for the College Park restaurants and things like that. So that's why I think an early parade would be a good idea to get in and out, and then we'd have community down there to frequent our restaurants. So we're looking for save the date, put June 19th, looking for, governing body. That's kind of why we wanted to swap out, give them an opportunity to propose what they were looking for, so y'all can think about what would you would like for us to give us the direction for that event, Juneteenth. Any questions?
Councilmember McKenzie?
Thank you, Michelle. My questions were, I knew that there was a parade, but didn't know where the parade was going to be, if it was going to still be the Main Street route, or whether we're going to move to another area of the city. Also, I'm glad to know that there is a plan to do something on the lawn that day as well. So just would be interested to know, so the Cultural Arts Committee will be working on this project in terms of, just would be interesting to see some of the guests that you're going to have. It should be exciting. Thank you so much. And so you've answered my questions in terms of location of the parade and what some of the events would be after the parade on that day.
It makes it easier with the police to put in for that DOT for the parade route, and staff to already know, and those that come to our parade to know what to expect. And I think Ms. Warrior told me that you were interested in joining on
Absolutely.
and having some input for Juneteenth. So this is a new event for us, so it will be something new, but we are thinking very similar to National Night Out, which was very interesting to hear the presentation, that we were doing very similar things. It would be nice to have some notoriety to bring into our first annual Juneteenth event. So certainly happy. And there were some other things that she had proposed that I thought would be great with the literacy and financial aspects that I'd like to see in our programming. So when I saw it, I wasn't thinking necessarily Juneteenth, but then when we discussed it after meeting with several of y'all, that it would be a great collaboration if it doesn't happen this time, to certainly to do that, to bring the groups together to have a great event.
Thank you, Michelle.
Sure. Thank you.
Councilmember Carn?
All right, looks like a great event. I'm glad to see we're finally doing something like this here. So looks like we have Fulton County Arts and Culture here on the flyer. Exactly what part are they going to be participating in with this?
So I put in that Fulton County Arts Grant every year. That is an application that I do in January. For the past 4 years, we've been awarded almost double each year. So I'm hoping and anticipating for $50,000, which is the maximum amount. We were awarded $34,000 last year in July, so we still have funds available for that Juneteenth, because I was concerned about funding for it. A parade is not, expensive. Music on the lawn and then vendors. So it's something I think it's certainly we can do within that budgeting amount.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Juneteenth on your list of the Fulton County Arts Grants.
Yes.
It was on the list along with some of the other ones.
That's for this upcoming, that would be next year's.
That's for next
grant money, correct, for the following year.
But
They would be awarded in, they don't always do it on an exact date every time. So when they ever provide us the funding, we'll utilize it.
But we have the Fulton County grant money for this one this year.
We have $34,000 that we've utilized, and it was double than what we had. So we're able to do some of these new events that we've done.
And this amount is, the whole 34 is earmarked for this event?
No.
Okay, so what percentage of that?
It started
do you
in
use?
July for our fiscal year. So this will be rounding out. We've got some other events planned. We had the women's event on Friday that we added to that. We've got the Older American Month that we do in music, and a performance that they do, and some music on the lawn and some movies on the lawn that we have planned for the summertime.
That sounds great. That sounds like a good list of stuff here. So out of the $34,000, what percentage of that is going towards the Juneteenth event?
So typically, we do about $3,000 for the parade, and so it's looking about $8,000 for both, between the music on the lawn, because depending on the artist that we choose, they could be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So I was planning on $8,000 for the event.
Okay. 8,000 out of the 34,000.
For both, for the parade and for the whatever we're putting on the lawn.
And I don't know, but I mean, that sounds low to me. I mean, this is a new event, and this is something that I think we need to make a big deal out of, and I want it to be as nice and as extravagant as possible, within reasonable cost. If you think $8,000 will do it, I think that sounds a bit low to me. The other thing I say, being that it's a new event, we always assume to have the events in the same place all the time. on Main Street, on the north side of town. You know, me personally, I'd like to see something like this, and this parade be along Godby Road.
I mean, so
And,
that's certainly something we can discuss, absolutely. It's just the DOT, we've always put in for Main Street. And we do host, we did Older American Month, we've done Music Fest at Tracy Wyatt Center, so we do try to be conscious of where we're putting those events.
Well, and I agree with you, but I'd like to see some diversity in that, and we can discuss another route with DOT as well. As a matter of fact, I drove a potential route with a patrol officer once just for Godby, just to see, you know, how we could logistically stage and where we could stage at if we wanted to do parades down there. And I just mentioned that because, you know, a huge percentage of our kids and residents live along that Godby Road corridor in terms of access, sidewalks on both sides of the street. And I don't want to assume we have everything at the same place on the same side of town.
It's always good conversations to discuss it. That's fantastic.
And the same, and the same, you know, location necessarily. So I would like to see Godby Road get some of that celebration, and you know, I think you'd have just as big of crowds, if not bigger, along that corridor. You know, I have a significant portion of Godby Road as well, but again, that's just me. That's what I would like to see, if we could, you know, start to diversify where we have these celebrations, and particularly something like this. So, yeah, but I'm all for it. Absolutely. I'm excited about it.
Councilmember Arnold?
I do have a question in reference to the title. Everything looks good. When I was reading this flyer here, it talks about Juneteenth, Freedom Parade, and Music Fest. Know the past, shape the future. And then it says inclusion celebration.
So that's a good question. That was a cultural arts, that was input from the council member, you know, the people that are on the committee.
Okay.
To be
all
an
right.
inclusive event. So it was just something that we got input from.
Okay.
And that flyer is just to save the date. ATL district will actually work on that.
Gotcha.
But that inclusive was actually wording that was brought up by a council, you're part of the Culture Ops Council.
Okay. All right. Well, then, I guess Councilman Carn's comments then would then support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And like I said,
being
it's a great
inclusive.
discussion.
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Councilmember Gay?
Yes, ma'am. I have a couple comments, but before I say that, my son got his master's from Columbia University. It's in communication. He's known as among the top 45th journalists in the world. We just had an event Friday night celebrating women. It was an amazing event. I didn't see no cameras, not one camera, not one news media was there. And, you know, my son, I asked him, why did you go into communication, son, when you had the option to do anything that you wanted? And he goes, because in communities of color, the news is not there. We don't get real news. We don't get true news. So I just want to say, you know, I respect people's jobs, but as journalists, let's try and also film the good with the bad. My comment was that I would like for you to get with the Simone family in Ward 1. They did the Black Lives Matter. We had about 300 participants at the 18 acres. They're Generation X young ladies. They're both college degree girls. They should be involved in this planning to help get more of the Gen X and millenniums out there. And I'll have our assistant give you their mom's contact number.
We'd love for them
You
to.
probably know her anyway. She helps you out. And to Councilman Corn's point, I do think that we do need to be inclusive. I think it's such an oxymoron that, you know, 70 years ago, the Ku Klux Klan marched down Main Street. So to have Juneteenth march down Main Street, I think that means that we've come a long way. But if you can wrap it around Godby, it'll be a way to educate and make that community inclusive as well.
Councilmember, I have another comment.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Councilmember Gay, I agree with you on everything except for, the Klan marched down Main Street in the 80s as well. So we ain't that far removed from that. Michelle, we talk about inclusion again. Yes. I think Godby would be a good place for this. Again, this is just my opinion. Now, we have this workshop for the purposes of discussion and decision-making in terms of logistically how we want to do this. We don't vote on it, but again, I for one would like to see us having these things where other folks can enjoy and participate, and being that this is a new one, again, this is just my opinion, or maybe we alternate them or whatever have you, but I want the rest of our community to benefit from the things we're doing up here around City Hall. And around City Hall is great, don't get me wrong, but some other great areas of town too that need to be included. And we talk about including and making sure that everybody can enjoy these events, these festivals, these parades, and so on and so forth. But Main Street is not the only parade able street in the city of College Park. Godby Road is just as accessible, and it has staging areas on each end. Again, I for one, I'd like to see something like this on Godby. Now, if no one else is interested, okay, but I certainly am. So, as we plan this thing, I want to, whatever you all think, but that's my opinion. I'd like to see you logistically do this one on Godby. I think that'd be a great thing for this city in terms of inclusion.
What about a parade that ended up at Phillips Park?
Well,
I think they're all great ideas. I think
Phillips
coming
and-
together and having different options. I mean, certainly, we do what we traditionally do, and it's good to get feedback and different ideas, and that's part of the Culture Arts Committee. But, hearing from y'all to know what the direction, I think it's fabulous. I'm absolutely willing to.
I like Phillips Park, but the only thing with Phillips Park is Herschel Road doesn't have sidewalks, and logistically, the driveways are residential homes, as opposed to Godby Road being a little more of I think a better fit in a sense. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
But,
I would want to impact whatever businesses are there too, for it to bring impact to it. That's part of, the overall.
Right, well,
effective.
we impact the businesses on Main Street
That's
every
what
time
I'm
we do
talking about
something
for over
too.
in Godby. Where,
And that could alleviate the Main Street impact and, well.
I mean, it's a fantastic idea.
Mayor,
Councilmember McKenzie?
as we're this is discussion, what about the concept of if we were to do the parade on Godby Road, still having something on the lawn in front of City Hall, so it's almost like you could have your parade earlier in the morning on Godby, and then maybe later in the day when it starts to cool down or something, to have the rest of the events. I mean, so you could actually we could possibly consider using both locations, and this way we were able to cover a larger portion of the city, and in terms of inclusion, we're getting everywhere, because we still need to have somewhere to have this concert, which, I mean, it could have been Herschel, could have been, so just kind of looking at the different locations that we have. It may be something where we have 3 locations, and just different things going on throughout the city. It is, I'm open, and of course, like I said, I do want to serve on the committee, so I plan to continue to work with you on this.
You see why it's good to have some new thinking up here. I like that makes
Well,
good sense
28
to
years
me.
I've been here, so not that's, you get used to doing the same thing, not to say that we can't change and do something new and out of the box, absolutely.
Well, we're going to change.
Yeah.
We're going to do some
But
of
no, I'm
those
saying
things.
that getting
Absolutely.
input and new, fresh
Yeah.
ideas, absolutely.
That's what we need up here. I like the 2 things.
I mean, you can have, I mean, we have the, oh gosh, now I'm having a senior moment here. The water that you could have something going on in 3 locations even. Godby Road Parade. Then during the daytime when it's hot, we've got some activities going on at Phillips Park with the why am I losing my?
Splash
Splash pad. And then, towards 6 o'clock in the evening, we have this concert on the lawn with vendors. You can have vendors at both locations. You can have them at the park that day. But let's make a big citywide thing of this. It's a wonderful experience. We've come a mighty long way, and we as a city are embracing all the diversity that we have. I think it's amazing, and my hat goes off to you and the team for leading the way with this. Thank you again.
Now, I think you, and with your committee, and I think take another look at that $8,000, maybe.
We're going to have to do three different
Yeah, I was going to
scenarios.
say, if you're going to do three different parks,
I want
yeah.
this thing, either go big or go home, Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a discussion y'all.
Well,
Wait,
we're talking about now, so I think we need more money. I don't know how much that'll be. I'm not going to be on the committee, but I don't think 8,000 is going to get it.
Question? Okay,
All right, thank you, Ms. Johnson.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two things. The citywide camera upgrade, because of the sensitivity, I asked them to remove to executive session, and of course, we can, and then the fourth item, the city ethics board and discussion, there's no manual anywhere in HR, nothing in HR, so I asked the city attorney to do an ordinance for us, which is part of this package, and I don't know if you want to. Go ahead.
Mayor.
Councilmember Arnold?
Okay, so the reason that I really wanted us to discuss this, not that we're taking any action, but I wanted to understand the history. Like, I noticed that we made some changes in 2020. So what did the ethics board look like before that time? What does it look like now? I wasn't looking to really make any changes right now, but to get more education about the ethics board. But being that you're saying that the documentation is missing, I guess that's kind of concerning here.
I didn't see any document. I talked to Crystal
Right.
this since last week, and even today, there's no
We don't have
documentation. And the city attorney was the one that drafted the ordinance.
Can we at least get some information regarding, like the votes, what's inside the minutes, what took place in 2020, so that we can see what it was
Okay.
and what it is right now? That's what I was asking for, really. That's what I wanted this whole discussion to be about.
So maybe we can bring it back in the next
Yeah.
workshop session.
And Dr. Emanuel,
Yes, sir.
as far as I can remember, the ethics board, it used to be comprised of the actual council and mayor. Generally, now, if there was an issue with involving a member, obviously that member would be recused from that board, but,
Okay.
We changed that a while ago.
yeah, because I remember it was that back in the day, and it switched to another configuration, so, and I don't remember exactly what it changed to exactly, but we got it on record somewhere, right?
We have an ethics officer. So now, the city council does not sit as the ethics board, but rather the city clerk.
That's what we have now.
Yes.
Right, I know that, yeah, I know we switched to that, right, but I guess we're going to look at how we want to make some changes to that. That's what it sounds like.
Well, or getting
Wait, hold on.
again, I'm sorry.
Councilmember Carn, were you finished?
Well, yeah, Councilmember Arnold, yeah, go ahead.
Were you finished?
For now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Arnold?
Yeah, so really education, right? It's notated that we have someone doing it, but who's doing it? We have a list of competent attorneys according to the documentation, but who's on that list. You know, for me, this is what I was seeking to get out of the conversation, more of what does that makeup look like right now? Not making any changes. You can't make changes to something that you don't know what's in place, right?
No, I don't have any information, you know.
Councilmember Arnold, I think I can provide a little bit of insight. In 2020, we discovered that the composition of our ethics ordinance didn't allow us to become a certified city of ethics according to the Georgia Municipal Association, because the idea is that the council shouldn't necessarily be the entire arbiter of the decision making. And so there were, as I recall, there were two options laid before us, whether or not to go with the hearing officer route or comprising an ethics board of citizens.
Okay.
And so it was the choice of the council at the time in 2020 to go the former route, the hearing officer route. I think Ms. Ames might be able to shed a little light on the selection of the hearing officer, because I think that comes from the clerk's office.
Yes, I get a recommendation of a list of attorneys from the city attorney's office, and I basically choose one of the attorneys from that list.
Okay.
Well, you know, looking at this ordinance here, and this is what we have currently, right? Is that right? Okay.
No, I think this is a new version that's being contemplated.
There's some additions.
I believe this is a new version that's being contemplated.
This is a new version with some changes?
Yes.
Yes,
Any significant changes? Or?
yes.
All right.
Well, I would consider, if you're looking at the draft that I prepared, we start from the premise that since I've been here, and going back to maybe 2004, I don't think I've ever seen an ethics complaint adjudicated on the merits.
Yeah.
Virtually every single one of them has been dismissed for failure to adhere to some procedural requirement. And I don't think that's consistent with the council's intention or the people's intention, which is to adjudicate these things on the merits. So as opposed to dismissing them, I suggested a cure period. So if there's some deviation from some procedural requirement, as opposed to summarily dismissing the ethics complaint, the hearing officer would say, well, you have X number of days to correct that error. And I just think that will allow the people to have their matters actually heard, as opposed to being a pitfall for the unwary and everything getting dismissed.
Well, I like that idea. The cure period looks good. And from looking at it, I perused over it. Now, I don't believe that any one person should be an ethics officer at all. I don't believe that is the best idea at all. Now, maybe going to a citizens-based board, something along those lines seems to make a whole lot more sense to me. But having the cure is good, but you need to also have, if the facts are the facts, you need to find the facts. You can find the facts and find one way or another and the cure period. But a lot of this stuff is a bill of, is this true or is this untrue? Now, if it's true or if it's untrue, you can still have the cure period. But at the end of the day, people want to know, well, what it is. Now, true or untrue doesn't mean, 10 years in the slammer, but you want to get to the facts of it. So just curing it, yeah, that's there. But does that say an admission of it happened or it didn't happen?
Let me make sure I'm clear about the cure period. What we're saying is, for instance, the ethics ordinance requires that you serve the party being accused within 5 days. And if you don't do that, so the hearing officer, well, you didn't serve the other party, it's dismissed.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. You, instead of dismissing it, the hearing officer would say, instead, I'm going to give you 3 days to get this person served with a copy of the complaint, as opposed to dismissing it. So and a lot of them are getting dismissed with, oh, you were supposed to get that certified, this was supposed to be served the next number of days, and they're being dismissed on that basis. And I just don't think that was the purpose of the ethics ordinance or the public policy that undergirds it, which is to dismiss them for technical reasons. I think you want to hear them on the merits. Is this true or is this false? And let's get to the heart of the matter as opposed to dismissing them on technicalities. So that's what the cure period is.
Right. Right, well, we're violently agreeing. We're on the same page, but again, I'd rather see I don't think one person should be the ethics arbiter. I think we need to look at something else, so, yeah, but we need to put it back together.
Councilmember Arnold?
Can we get the minutes? I would like to at least see the history before we start talking about making adjustments.
I could provide those.
Thank you.
Also,
Councilmember McKenzie?
yeah, also, I'd like to see how many ethics complaints that have been filed have actually have been heard, because, this is why when I read the draft that Attorney Denmark put together here, it seems like it's climbing the Rock of Gibraltar, and to be able to have an ethics complaint ever heard. So I think that even as we look at the composition of the board, that we continue to look at this. I do like the idea, being one that has filed an ethics complaint that was dismissed for procedural and not even realizing that I didn't have everything in place. It was thrown out without being able to be told, this is what's missing, come back, refile it, or make and so but to me, that's a disservice to our community, to be able to offer the ability to file a complaint that there's a 99.999 chance that it will never be heard.
So we'll put this back on the workshop session for discussion next time, get a little bit more information, and
Shabelle, how soon can you get it?
How soon can I get what? I'm sorry.
Get the minutes.
I can get the minutes tonight. That's not a problem.
So we can schedule for workshop for
Yeah, I think they ask specific questions though, so I think those answers need to be answered as well. Those questions need to be answered. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
all right, thank you very much. We'll see everybody at 7:30.
Do we have enough time to do some executive session?